Welcome, friends and neighbors. We have a special edition of the Ray and Benny Talk Sports Show. Unfortunately, Benny couldn't be with us today. He's got to get his kids ready for school, ready for hockey. His daughter has her own business, so he's a busy man, so he couldn't make it today. But we do have a very special guest, our first ever guest on Ray and Benny Talk Sports, a Blue Bomber legend and a Canadian Football League Hall of Famer. I'm beside myself. I'm honored. Mr. James West, thank you for joining us. How are you feeling today, sir?
Man, the pleasure's all mine, Ray. I'm glad to be here with you, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Last time I saw you, you was a kid.
That's right. I sent James a picture from 1988 when the Bombers used to do a family pancake breakfast, and we were able to go with the family and meet the players and sign autographs and take pictures. And that's one of my prized possessions, taking a picture with you and my family and my dad, because you were one of my heroes. You were one of those athletes that I looked up to. And enough about me and my fandom right now. Let's talk about you and how you got to Canada, how you became part of the Canadian Football League. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it's a long story. How long do you want me to go? So
we'll ride with you wherever you go, bro.
Well,
We'll ride with
I
you.
never played. All my brothers were athletes, but if somehow I was a middle child, the most confused child about how to get to the avenue my brothers did. They all got D1 scholarships, but every time I tried out for any one of the sports, I got cut from it. I just didn't have no talent. Maybe I had the talent, but it was just saved for me to be, released at a certain time. And that's what actually happened. So I went through all the Pee-wee sports and junior high and high schools, and I just never really played a sport. I tried out for them and just didn't make it. So I had an option to either go to college or go to the military. Those were my two options. I decided to go to college and give it a shot because I knew a couple of those guys on the football team played. I was going to perpetrate them and say, hey, man, tell the coach I played there at high school.
Yeah.
So they gave me a tryout, and 3 days later, I was sitting back home.
Wow.
So that particular year, kind of lost myself in a whole lot of other things and got caught up, but my fate caught me up. And the next year, I went and got a tryout. As a matter of fact, let me back up a little bit. My life got altered into something that I did professionally after the game was over. And that's the FCA, is the Fellowship Christian Athletes, which is a sports ministry. But when that turned my life around, I gave it another shot. I just felt like I was ready to go at that point, and it just catapulted me into just something that when it just didn't even know myself I had it, but something inside me thought I did have it, and I gave it a shot. And not only did I make the team, but I took the positions of all the guys who actually had it, with 9. So I started every year after that. I started like my freshman year through sophomore year, junior season. I never relinquished that position for 4 years. And
wow.
The reason why I made it to Canada was when I graduated, though, from Texas Southern. I didn't get drafted, but I did play with the Raiders, and the Raiders allowed me to play with them. But they won the Super Bowl that year. People don't know that I even was with the Raiders in 1980, the year they won the Super Bowl. But I wound up getting not cut, and I didn't get a ring. But so I decided to play semi-football the next few seasons, and it just kept me active because I still believe that I could still do more. I'm one of those type of people that just believe. And your thought patterns is led by the Spirit to do something that's really amazing. And so I just kept going. And
yes,
so I played safety. It made me a better linebacker. And so after that was over with, I came to Calgary and played there for 3 years. Probably made like $60,000 over the 3 years I was there the whole time. they were terrible. Oh my God. $5 per diems.
Oh, what are you gonna get for $5? Well,
envelope. But it was like 3 years. I probably made like $90,000 in 3 years. My income didn't even go up, but I was so excited to play that I know there was another opportunity going. And so I went down to St. Louis, and I played for St. Louis briefly, and I returned back to the Canadian football. And I got a lot of offers, but I wanted to play with Winnipeg because I knew what it looked like, and because we played against them when I was in Calgary. I knew how amazing their fans were, how enthusiastic they were, how passionate they were. I like, shoot, I like them, but I like their players more because it was a whole lot of guys who played from HBCUs that was there. And
Ah,
so, and Tyrone Jones is one of those guys, and we met face to face because we played against each other when we was in college, and he was a freshman and I was a senior, and we reconnected it there, and we had a whole lot of connection and reconnected. But when I got to Winnipeg, I know I was never going to try to go anywhere else, and so that was my story to get to Winnipeg, and I continue to
wow.
love Winnipeg to this day.
We love you. We love you here, man. We love you here. Uh, you talked about the breakfast where I got to meet you and the family thing, and I remember Cal Murphy serving out pancakes. Can you tell us about what it was like to be in Camp Cal? Today we see training camps, not much contact. One a day, taking it easy. Was it different? Training camp under Cal Murphy?
Cal was just different, period. So some of it good and bad. So if he was handing out pancakes, I must not got one. I don't remember him handing out no pancakes. So
just
it was
just to
probably
the
on there
fans.
stealing the battery. They don't tell you what they were doing. But, dude, I gotta be totally honest with you, man.
Please.
You really gotta pertain to just telling the truth in some things. Our organization used us because they knew we loved each other so much in that avenue. And like, so
Mm-hmm.
people wasn't getting paid what they supposed to. We were getting like $5 per diem. That's what really the $5 per diem stuff was coming. I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't have the equipment we needed. It's a whole lot of stories I can tell you about that too as well. I'm not trashing anybody, but some things just need to be told. We
Of
did it
course.
on our own because we loved each other as an organizational guys. We had Cal Murphy was a good general manager. At that time, he was a coach. But
Mm-hmm.
when Mike Riley came, it changed the whole perspective of us as us because we just fell from like top to bottom. Even if Cal was in the the portion that he was in during that time as being what do they call that? The general manager, as a
Mm-hmm.
general manager, and Mike Riley was the head coach. Man, we blossomed. We lived with Mike Riley. He grew us up, man. Because he was just like one of the players who was just guiding us more so
Yeah.
than he just like one of us, giving suggestions. We can get suggestions back. It was an incredible time. But during training camp, we worked hard. And it seemed like we went to like different cities or places every year. We never did, I think, get stopped into one place where we just said we're gonna go here every year. If that was
Mm-hmm.
the place done, we probably did that right there at the stadium, in the old stadium. But those times were really good. We had a lot of guys trying to. If you made that team, you were ready.
Yeah, that was an amazing team, especially that defense and the depth you guys had at linebacker for a good 4 or 5 years. Yourself, Tyrone Jones, Greg Battle, Paul Randolph. We talk about all these names, and you mentioned we were talking yesterday before our meeting about the 1987 team. Of course, we know that you didn't quite get the chip that year, but you say it's one of the better teams that you played on. Could you elaborate on the 1987 team and what made it so great in your eyes?
If you look at the current Bomber team, they have, Andrew Harris, Zach Colas, they have Kenny Lawyer, they got Brian Alexander, Richie Hall, their coach, Daryl Patterson's one of their coaches. I mean,
Yeah.
Drew Liskey, Will Jefferson. I mean, let's go on and on and on. And they still have like the coolest coach there is. They got Mike O'Shea as a coach. It all reflects about where we were back in that time as a team because our defense was very good. Our offense was good. They had a good running back, and we had a over and above average quarterback. We just say don't jack it up. So, but it meant that was just one of the most organizational teams that we had in 1987 because we kind of like mirrored ourselves to the now current team, and we wouldn't like
Mm-hmm.
compare ourselves to no teams, and neither should they compare ourselves to them because as time goes on, things get better and better. But everybody doesn't get into primary to be so similar like we were with that team in 87 and with the current Bomber team that they have now, which they are totally incredible. And I think they did an amazing job. Wade Miller in that organization, they have got a whole list of kids. I mean, they ain't kids like grown men now.
Yeah.
Kids back in the day me and you was take that photo, but I'm just an amazing team there. So yes, shucks, we were good in 87, but we just didn't make it. I think we because I was just thinking about that just the other day. We were thinking so much about what we're gonna do afterwards, more so than we did with the game. We thought so much about afterward. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do that and do that, and it just totally blew our mind. So from '87, which I still thought it was our best team, we win the Grey Cup, in which our worst team. We wouldn't say worst team, but it wasn't our best team. But in '88, it wasn't our best team, but we won the Grey Cup.
Yeah, you had Sean Salisbury, and I think he was
Right.
was he splitting time with Roy DeWalt that year as well?
Yes, because Roy DeWalt came over and when he got hurt, then he took that position, and we wind up being pretty good. And then the next year we wind up letting him go. So we haven't really while I was there, we didn't have a great time always holding on to the same quarterbacks. We seemed like we had a different quarterback like every other year.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that went for a good 30 years actually in Winnipeg. We had Tyrone Jones for a bit, and then he left, Kevin Glenn. So I don't know if that's a Winnipeg thing. You look at organizations like Calgary, they have Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, Dave Dickinson. They have like a progression of quarterbacks. It's different here. I don't know why.
And sometimes we let the good ones get away, so that what happens too as well. Dieter Brock, of course, was there, and I'm looking at Danny McManus. I can imagine if Danny would have stayed there, Danny would have just like turned that thing upside down, because he played in the Grey Cup, and shucks, he came off the bench and added a whole lot more points with the 1990 Grey Cup team. When we was playing that team, we had two what some people would call average quarterbacks, but they both could have played anywhere, and just just over a certain amount of time, they just changed and decided to go somewhere else. Not on their own choice. Sometimes somebody else chose it for them.
Yeah, the opportunities come. Definitely. I remember that with Danny Mac. Is you guys were putting the brakes on at that point, and then he threw a big bomb to like Rick House in the end zone for a touchdown.
Just two. Some people just seen them as average, but we just saw them as great. And the similar thing between them is that we loved each other so much, man. We respected each other. We threw the trash out when it had to go.
Yeah.
We kept it in the locker room, but we threw the trash out. It wasn't the coaches, it was us. It wasn't the organization, it was us. It was, and to be honest with you, I know I talked to you earlier about running the mouth, but I didn't run the mouth that much on the field. Maybe it looked like it, but we just joking.
It did look like it. It did look like it.
But I can honestly tell you, my mouth was spoken a whole lot more in that locker room. It really was. And it was the coaches, the administration, or whatever the case may be, because we want to be very clear that that team y'all don't owe that team. Y'all don't own us. And y'all, we are a team. Just mean together, everybody accomplishes more. That's an acronym. So y'all not going to lead us and lead, that particular thing. And we didn't have to suggest that with Mike, because he already showed himself with that love. And the coaches that he brought along with him, that's what we did.
Yeah, he understood the brotherhood.
Yes. And you know what? Mike O'Shea does that too. It's almost like this is a template in terms of what it looks like to have a Bomber team. It should be based on what the current team looked like and the past team looked like too as well, because they've done an amazing job. And I thought we did an amazing job there during the 80s. And now as they, with this current team here and the way they do things and have a drive for it and have amazing head coach and administration that works with them together, that's how you win. Again, together, everybody accomplishes more. When you get people in the positions, it's meant to do your position, not somebody else's. It's just like if you're a teacher. So if you're a teacher and you got an issue with your teacher, you don't go and address the teacher with your kids, say, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." You don't go to the administrator first. You go to the teacher. You just don't go to the administrator first, because the administrator is not going to understand what the teacher needs to know, because the teacher knows more than the administrator. So when you go to the teachers, who we can now call coaches and administrators like that, when you talk to them more so than going way over the level than you're supposed to, then it kind of puts up a stain in the relationship thing and start tearing it down. So, I'm glad we had a team, and now y'all have a team like that that shows us how to get through and have victories, and something that some people don't even understand now.
Yeah, we talk about like brotherhood and relationships within the organization. And from the stands, we could tell that there was a special relationship with yourself and Tyrone Jones. And we're not just talking about on the field performance. We could tell that you guys were tight. Could you share some stuff about Tyrone Jones, who's another Blue Bomber legend?
Tyrone Jones and myself, we went to the HBCU, historically Black colleges and universities, and we played against each other. And I don't think he played much this freshman year, but I think he did. And he acknowledged that too as well. I remember seeing me as a senior, him being a freshman, and he played some, and he was kind of like saying, man, I saw you when you was playing at Texas Southern University, and I just thought you were a good player. And I said, I saw you play there at Southern University, and never thought we would come to play together. But we wind up, of course, when I came back from the stateside and came back to Winnipeg, I had other options. I had a lot more money to claim if I wanted it. I could have fussed to it, but I wanted to play with Tyrone. If Winnipeg would have known how, how less they could get me, they could have got me for free to play with Tyrone Jones.
Too late. Too late.
Y'all gave me way much more than maybe y'all gave me the money that I didn't get in Calgary. Maybe that was just a,
there you go.
Get back to what I lost, what I should have got. So, but
exactly,
it was like, and I could see the look at Paul Robinson when he invited me, to come there, and because I didn't know, I just set out the first week just figure out what I was going to do next. And I didn't want to just react to something, just say, okay, I'm going to play with such and such because of the money, this and that. I had to go back to my thoughts about who I knew. And and who I knew was when I used to go see the teams that we played against. And when I saw Tyrone out there when we played against them, they'll come across the field and give you a high five, even if we won or lost. And I wanted to be around that culture.
Yeah.
And so when I came back, it was very clear that Winnipeg would be my home for the next 9 years or so.
And what made Tyrone different? Where you guys just clicked on and off the field? We talked yesterday about how you had a relationship like you were brothers. What was it about you and Tyrone that just clicked, and that energy we could feel in the stands of that special relationship?
I think my relationship with Tyrone is based on what school we went to. Like, again, I mentioned the HBCUs. HBCU guys are, if you can get through that, if you can get through an HBCU, you're prepared for life. Because you can go through an HBCU right now, and I don't care when it's been created, whether it's back in the 50s or the 60s, it's still that same school right there. It hasn't been rebuilt. And so the people and the student athletes who come there, students or the athletes who come there, they see historically what has been there for years, and they trying to rebuild in a certain way to get their education or whatever they need to do to make themselves primarily to have a platform where they can see how important it is to give HBCUs a chance. Like Michael Strahan gonna be the first, might be the first Black person to go there for sure. As we chatted here a couple of days ago. I'm incredibly proud of him, and look at all the amazing things that he's doing. And so many other, Black people have came in and out of the HBCUs. And so we had an immediately acquaintance between each other because we know the struggle is real in the HBCUs, but when you finish it, then you prepare for life. Right. You be ready to address social righteousness and justice in all those areas and be able to give an account for it when that question is asked to you. And it kind of, we were not the ones that are, it's not the ones that we'll start it, but we'll finish it. And when me and Tyrone got together, we started it and we finished it too as well. Because I don't know if you knew this or not though, but me and Tyrone, we played for a season together. And 2 years later, he went, after I came up from St. Louis, 2 years later, he went to St. Louis and played in St. Louis. And so, and that was in 88. So I won a Grey Cup in 88. He won one in 84. But when he came back to the States, back to the CFL, and we got together and named it, we won a Grey Cup together. So we won a Grey Cup together, we won separate, and then we won disconnected from each other. So, just an incredible life with him. And still, his parents had passed away for the last few years ago, and I was there for their homegoing service. They're still family to me. I absolutely love them. They need to tell a whole story about their life, because the project in the what I'm telling you now is very clear that their family grew up like that. They knew struggles will come, and they know it's difficulties will come. He got doctors, lawyers, they like all kind, they socialist people, they community activists and everything where they live, and they all significant people. And that's all we should desire to do as well, to go and
absolutely
impact. So yes,
absolutely,
I impacted the world with Tyrone Jones, but when he passed away, that broke my heart.
Yeah, Winnipeg was with you on that one, because we didn't see it coming here, and it was just so sudden, and we still miss him to this day. His name still rings strong. You can see Tyrone Jones and James West jerseys at IG Field to this day. So y'all left us with some amazing memories. So thank you for that.
Let
100%.
me give you one more then, since you said that.
Yes, please.
We brought, the mall is right across the street in the old stadium. So I went
Yeah.
over there because it's my first year going there, walking around here. We say, let's walk through the mall. We go through the mall, and this guy, at that particular time, this is where the hockey arena was. This guy, two pregnant people died at his feet as we was walking toward that. I was getting ready to fight. I'm like, man, what's up? He died. He started kissing Tyrone's feet.
Oh my God. Well, there you
I'm like, man, what the heck is going on over here? He said, man, that dude want to kiss our feet, man. It doesn't have but I like, man, listen. And everywhere we went, they did it with Tyrone. I like, man, I need some of that. I don't need, like, this is cool. You get that much acknowledgement. And so from that point on, we started like seeing who gonna get the much attention. We never said that. You gonna be the first time. We were trying to get more attention from the fans more so than anybody else. It was comparison. And it probably led to him wanting to go to Saskatchewan because I think I just overwhelmed him just a little bit much when he left to go to Saskatchewan. And I just think that wasn't the reason. He'll never say that clearly. He probably said it to me now. But so you left because I started getting your attention.
And that, for a Bomber fan, that was one of the weirdest things. I still can't wrap my head around seeing Tyrone Jones in the green and white. It was just an odd thing to see.
It's an odd thing to see too as well. Here I am playing in Winnipeg, and he's over there in Saskatchewan, and we talking to each other during the game.
I would have loved to have you guys mic'd up for that. Have some mics on you and hear what went on the back and forth throughout that
so
game.
Funny. We didn't even shake each other's hand after that. That's
so then, talking about Saskatchewan, Western Final coming up this weekend. Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, probably the biggest rivalry in the CFL. I know we got Calgary, Edmonton geographically, but never mind. We have Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl now. Can you share some rivalry stories, memories that you have with Saskatchewan, Labor Day, struggles that you had with them, and how heated was it as a player, the Saskatchewan-Winnipeg rivalry?
It's funny you say heated because it was always hot when we went there. It was burning up over there. We played them like every year, that game.
Yeah.
We lost some games to them, but our whole experience wanted to be a sweep. We wanted to sweep them like every year. And so I think we tried too hard to do that in some of those games. So we got lost. As a matter of fact, we lost one game, 41-15 or something like that. And we were hot about it. We were hot. We could not wait to play them. And so when they came back to us and played them, we shut them out. They didn't even get a point.
Ooh.
And we shut them out. I forgot what year that was. I think it may have been like the 87 season. That may have been 87 when we played them. We was really good. I mean, really, really good. And we told they butt up because they talked about us so bad up in the stand. I think that we got caught up in their audience of fans more so we didn't really concentrate on the game, to be honest with you. And so we had good teams and they had a good game. They really did. That was a good day for them. When they came back, and it's many overs. It's many other games. That was 1 hour. And listen, it's people who live in Saskatchewan and Regina. It's people who live in Winnipeg, and they do not like each other based on the sport itself. They just don't like each other. And we didn't like each other either. Little short, I forgot his name, but he used to play like he was the middle guard for them, and him and Tyrone used to have it. They used to have it all the time. He wore number 44.
Was it Roger Aldag? Roger
Aldag. They used to talk the whole game. Oh my goodness. And they were about the same size. Tyrone's a couple of inches taller than him, but he like, man, he always said, you little net. You just anyway, you little net. Tyrone talked the whole game. So everybody had their like personal arguments, We had Rod Hill out there talking to Don Narcisse and talking to this guy. The person that the whole game was just like blah, 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 blah. I got too tired. I was too tired to argue. But I enjoyed that game. I enjoyed that experience. When we love competition. Our best games when we played against like somebody had beat us at one point or another. We wanted to be sure we claimed that victory back. And the people who thought they were all in the bag of potato chips, who was Toronto.
Yeah, of course.
So we had our rivalries, but we definitely wanted to be sure that we swept them when we played them. That was our whole claim.
And is there a Labor Day matchup that comes to mind other than the 41-15 loss that comes to mind? Is there Any other Labor Day memories that that either fond or not fond that come to mind?
The one they beat us 41-15 was not fun. I think that was, again, I think that was in either 87 or 89. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's probably was in 89, and they beat us. And I was not happy about that. And I don't think nobody was. We didn't even speak to each other during that particular week because we had to turn around and play them the next week. The
Yeah.
very next week, the same week that we played in the Labor Day, the next team we were gonna play was them. When we came out, we scratched their butt up. And it was, and I had already been a rivalry. I think we did though. I think we did sweep them in a couple of seasons there when I was there, maybe in 3, but they never was going to sweep us. We never got swept by them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they thought the running board would be, based on if somebody swept somebody, they weren't gonna get it from us because we definitely gonna get at least one in. And the enthusiasm because of the fans, because they know that was just like with us playing Saskatchewan, it was like a Grey Cup for them because they hadn't been to the Grey Cup in the 80s.
Totally, yeah.
Like a Grey Cup for them, and so we needed to be prepared for it. It was just like this is our Grey Cup. We win here, we Grey Cup champion, and that's what we have to always go through. And we suddenly went into that game like that, and they beat the crap out of us.
Yeah.
Then we had to rescue. Then you came on the Boot Bombers ground, and then we knew right away, y'all got the right idea, the wrong people ready.
You had to check them. You had to check them.
And you'll check on this later on. You'll see that during that particular season. I think it was 87. You'll see when they beat us like 45-15 or something like that. But we blanked them. They may have scored 1 point, but they kicked the ball out the end zone or whatever the case may be. But we beat the crap out of them. We
Amazing.
did. Those are two I remember.
Yeah. So with the Bombers going into the playoffs, the West Final, in regards to more memories, is there one playoff memory that comes to mind right away when you think about your time with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Mine would always be the first Grey Cup I won in 1988. Of course, I always laugh about this because we lost our last 3 games in the playoffs, getting ready for the I think at that time we was in the Western Final, and we played Hamilton, I think, and it was like 12,000 people came to the game. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember the 12,000
people came to the game.
Ay.
So that was one of my biggest memories because people didn't trust us because we won, and so we had already prepared our place for the playoffs because they had won enough games, and we were 8-8, but we lost our last 3 games, and so of course we played Hamilton in the the final, and nobody came to the game, but we beat them till we beat them down. It's a good hard fought game though, but they played us hard. They were really good because people were trusting the Bombers are old, they lousy, they ain't good, blah blah blah. And that was the team that I said earlier that wasn't one of our best teams, but it was the best close team. We were really close to each other because we had something we want to fulfill in terms of winning that game, and we won that game. But it was funny when we won that game. It was shirts traveling everywhere around Winnipeg, and the shirts were saying. It was. Let me tell you how many shirts were sold. About like 114. I think it was 104. It was a lot of shirts. Let me just say, well over 100 shirts. And it said this: I was one of the 12,000.
Wow. I wonder if any of those shirts are still around somewhere.
The T-shirt said, I was one of the 12,000. You wasn't one of them people over there, one of the 12,000. It was like thousands of shirts going out there saying I was one of the 12,000. You was not one of them. You ain't got to lie. You ain't got to lie.
Oh my goodness.
I used to see them shirts and I'm like, oh, you want that game.
I got to go through all the thrift shops and value villages around the city and try and find that shirt. That's a collector's item right there.
I would never forget that. Although I know the best thing was that we won, but the funniest thing was that when people were talking about, oh yeah, they was at the game. You wasn't at the game? How you gonna be like it's hundreds and hundreds of that shirt and talking about you was one of the 112,000?
You lied.
The last catch up with you.
Oh my goodness. So before we let you go, and thank you again for taking the time to talk with us. It's been an absolute honor and a blessing. But what does it feel like, especially that you mentioned, the playoff memory of your first Grey Cup? What is it like to be there and lift the Grey Cup and drink out of that cup for the first time?
For me, it was incredible because I really didn't come there to make monies. I I didn't come there to just to go to play. I pursued that avenue there in Winnipeg because I wanted to do something great with a team. And I didn't want it to be like an individual site. I wanted to be sure that everybody who I played with, I would totally get in my full attention in terms of who I thought we were as together as brothers. I wanted to be sure that everybody was in the position. And I spoke about that quite a bit. And I'm letting people know I spoke out on some things that need to be done and said. And I didn't do it through fear. I did it because I know I needed to express that because I was a captain. I was allowed to be the captain during that particular time. And I didn't ask for it. As a matter of fact, we just said we was gonna do it. Everybody else followed. But the great part was that me and Lyle Bauer was the captains, but everybody was like a captain. It wasn't like that we had the positions and had a big crown on our head or something like that that makes us even better. But it was, we just felt like, again, I say this quite often, together, everybody accomplishes more. That's what a team is. It's an acronym. Together, everybody accomplishes more. And everybody did their thing. So everybody had purpose and promise and everything else. Everybody got treated right. Every one of my teammates, I still love them today. I mean, I still stay in contact with everybody. As a matter of fact, most people call me and say, hey, do you have such and such a number? I'll be like, yep, I got it. So I'm that person that, I didn't come to play the game just to be playing the game. I wanted to have people over and over, years and year out, to still be my friends, that even of relevance to the day. And so I'm just grateful, very glad that Winnipeg gave me an opportunity to come and show what we had. I hope people understand that in life, you have to be able to put your trust in somebody. Hopefully there's an almighty, but along the way, there's people who need to travel with you, which they'll call a cloud of witnesses. And we had a whole lot of cloud of witnesses on that field who did immensely great work, even if they held the ball for somebody to kick it through the volleyball up there to the goal post and make that happen. So with that being said, I thank God for having people like, Mike Riley and all the other people who guided us and leaded us and, was subtly speaking to us when we needed it. And most of all, we were a good team. And just like the current team is right now, it's so similar. I wish them nothing but greatness, but I just hope they don't do like we did in '87 when we had an amazing team, probably the best team we would ever. If I said what was the best team we ever said, I would say '87. And how does it compare to the team right now? I was like, oh, he was better than them if I was going to say that. But I do realize this is when you start seeing ahead of time something that you already haven't accomplished yet, you always lose focus. And I just hope that during this particular week that they won't lose focus in terms of, okay, we know we good, we know we great, we got a whole lot of great players and good coaches and this, that, but we need to stream out, say all the way. Don't talk about it until it's all over with. Most of you talking about it before we did, and we talked about it too much. We were doing commercials and everything else, like we had already won the game, and we got caught up in it. So, and again, in the next year, we won the Grey Cup with not one of the best teams we ever had. So humility catches up with you, but it always gets it back in the humility at the same time. So I thank God for those opportunities, and I'll never forget those times.
And we'll never forget you. The memories that you've given us, the championships that you played on. Winnipeg can't thank you enough. And we can't thank you enough for joining us here on Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We'd love to have you come back sometime. The door is always open for Mr. James West. So if you want to chat, feel free to come on by. We always have some room for you.
Y'all had that new variance coming in. I'll come to the game, but I ain't coming up there. I don't know what I watch the game all street. I'll see y'all Sunday. Is it Sunday? Yeah, I'll see y'all.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
I said, James, I got a ticket to come. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm gonna put it on the sign right there and just see. I ain't coming up there.
We'll keep it on Zoom for now. We'll keep it on Zoom, and we'll see how things go next summer. And if you are in town, ring us up so we can chat some more. And it's been an amazing time.
I look forward to seeing them, man, and you all, man. Bless you, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Mr. James West, CFL Hall of Famer. Have yourself a good day. Peace and love, brother.
Thank you, man.